Okay, welcome to Coote Town Council's Planning Committee meeting on Monday, the 16th of January, 2023. Could I offer my Happy New Year to one and all? I haven't seen you, including our guest speaker.
Thank you.
Okay, so any apologies for absence?
Yeah, we've got Councillors Angier, Hogman and Payne.
Item 2, to note declarations of members' interest in the agenda as it's been sent out.
One have objection on the council website.
Right.
You know which one, sorry?
It's one for Castle Street.
Castle Street.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, yeah. Got that one.
0024.
I think it's 0,
230024.
Yeah,
There we are.
Okay.
And that's the Hayes on the hand.
Yeah, I object to 4, 6, 9, 10, and I don't know. I used to work on one side with
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
That might give you an opportunity interest for 230011.
I do indeed. Your skin.
That's it.
I make no comment. Okay, then. To confirm and sign the minutes of the meeting held on the 21st of November. So we have those minutes approved, please.
Yeah.
Second.
Okay.
There we are.
Okay, item 4, public participation. No, we've got any,
No.
no letters or anything. Okay then, so item 5, we won't be having item 5 yet. We shall move to item 8.1, which is the two local cycling and walking infrastructure.
Yeah.
And we have, over to you,
Whatever it said on the
Mindy
email.
Holland.
Is that what it said on the email? Right, not to worry. So I'm briefing you to the opportunity for letting me come and brief you today about the Mini Holland scheme that we're running a consultation on at the moment group. I think some of you may have been on a briefing that the Council vote.
Yes.
And we're hoping you're going to
I do.
we're hoping you are, some of the colleagues have a conversation with you if you're able to attend. Don't worry if you can't. It's a nice to have.
What time?
They are 10 till 4 in the last hour. But don't worry if you can't.
Oh, well, I'm addressed you all in the afternoon, so. Yeah. Okay, thank you. I didn't.
Right. So, a little bit of background. 19 local authorities have been given money by the Department of Transport to do some initial investigation work on Mini Holland. The idea behind it is basically to do this first bit of investigation, find out what residents and members of the public think. We combine that with some data analysis that's going on and work out whether it's the right thing to do to actually then apply for more funding from DfT to take it forward. So what we've got, so Mini Holland, you might have heard of them perhaps in London. You might also think of LTNs, which are low traffic neighbourhoods. What you might find if you just go away after this and Google them, you will find lots of negative in that about it, because it's often people who don't like it who are online and post about it. We are most definitely not at the point of upsetting anybody. We're not ready to make any changes yet. This is very much a case of we want to find out what people think. Because if there isn't an appetite for it, improve, we won't be bidding for future funding, we won't get it forward. So the kinds of things that could be involved are things like pedestrian crossing for zebras or anything that's signalised pedestrian crossing. We could have things like parklets, we can add a little bit of green space. And it's all about trying to discourage cars from using the area and make it a more pleasant place for people to live and work and walk and, you know, get to the services that they need within a very short sort of area, a very small area, without having to rely on cars. I should also reiterate, it's not that we're trying to stop everybody from using the car. It's for some people, some of the time, when it's those right occasions. So it's most definitely not an anti-motorist proposal. So that's an example of one that's being done in London. If you look on the right-hand side of that photo, you can see like a timber planter. So that's a filter to try and stop vehicles going through, but people on all sorts of different bikes and pedestrians can all get through. And it's just about reallocating the space, so making it easier and safer for people to walk and cycle. So that's the widest area that we have looked at, and that was included in our local cycling and walking infrastructure plan. It's far too big an area to be considered as a mini Holland, because mini Hollands have got to be sort of quite compact, which is why we're also doing some data analysis on the flows of vehicles and the types of roads that they actually are on here, things like these bus routes running through that area. But it's all about, you know, trying to minimise the impacts to a certain extent and take away that, you know, where there are lots of vehicles, and reduce that if we possibly can. If we do go for any future funding, the intention is that we will be using the data we've got to pick an area within that. It most, as I say, it most certainly would not be all of that area. If we were to do the kind of measures that are needed to make that into a mini Holland, there'd be an awful lot of measures and it would cost an awful lot of money, which is why we need to focus in on an area. So the reason that we put through is there's all sorts of other investment going on, which I'm sure that you're fully aware of. And we've got schemes also looking at the connectivity between the train station and the town centre. It's a fantastic place for cycling because it's relatively flat, apart from the railway bridges, and it obviously has a historically high level of cycling, and it would be great if we could bring that back. So scheme benefits is about making walking and cycling public transport choice that people want to make, particularly for those short journeys. We're looking at investment in some of the more deprived areas of Crewe. We want to look at those areas that have got high traffic volumes and narrow residential streets, and where there is that, I know that Richard Hibbert, head of strategic transport, doesn't like it, the back running that we might get. But it's all, it's, as I did say earlier, it's not just on the stopping motorists, it's about making it a nicer place. You know, doing that greenery where people would want to walk and live. So the reason that what we're doing at the moment is all around engagement. So we did the green and blue infrastructure, I think they were end of November, start of December, which I'm know it's when we tried to get this meeting, but obviously we missed the timing of, the planning committee. We have spoken to local councillors, we've got, an online resource called Commonplace. And what that basically shows is a map of the area, and you can drop a pin on it and say, my issue with that location is whatever it might be. You can say that there's a problem there, or you can say, I think it's a crossing there, or it needs, whatever it might be. We're happy to find out what it is that people actually think. And then we've got this in-person drop-in session, which is on this coming Saturday, the 23rd, 10 till 4, at the Lifestyle Centre. And if anyone's able to make it, that'd be great. If you want to mention it as well to any of your residents, that'd be much appreciated. Some of my colleagues have mentioned that they want to try and do something. That's why we mentioned you, Councillor Rose, because obviously you live in that area, and they were hoping that you could either attend, or whether we could possibly come and meet you and do a little bit of a walk around the area, to get your input as well, because obviously you know the area, you know what the issues are, so having your input would be really valued. I've also got a meeting with a couple of schools later this week to try and get their input. It's something that Ben White has organised for us. So he's also going to I'm going to be speaking to some of the school children from a couple of the schools, which again I think that's another fantastic sort of view on what we're going to be doing, or what we're trying to find out about. So once we've gone through all of that, I'm going to pull together a report that sort of summarises everything that we found out from all of these different consultations. We've got the data analysis. I'm going to pull both of them together, and if there is support for what we think it might be, we will then pull together a feasibility study that's going to go to DfT to request additional funding. But it will be reliant on that next round of funding. I think there's 19 local authorities that have got money to do this stage. We don't know how many will be taken forward by DfT. I would imagine that it will be less than 19. That is my advice. That was.
Yeah, thank you. Any questions?
It's been a tight time scale, but we really have focused in on it in the last couple of months. So the consultation, the responses that we've been getting from the Commonplace website, we've done some media releases around that, and that's been promoted by Cheshire's. We have had several hundred representations. I can't tell you the exact number of week or so, and we've been getting quite, I suppose, a lot of good things that have been coming out of it, and things that we expected, at the locations that we expected, which it all fits in with the data that we've been looking at as well. Okay. And after this meeting on tomorrow, I send you the link to Commonplace for you to go to. Do you have any other questions?
Unless my colleagues do know, I'll keep these powers dry till Saturday.
Feel free to have your
No,
say now.
I'm in town Saturday morning, and I will drop in now.
Yes, it'd be fantastic.
Okay. I will drop in around 7. No problem. Okay then, well, John, sorry.
I'm just going to
ask you, to get everything from this, the analysis, is there anything sort of standing out in the areas or?
The, the area around Flag Lane seems to have popped up, Ruskin Road and sort of that wider area because of it being the more terrace type of housing. And the areas around the schools.
So say for schools or the equipment.
Yeah. I think we've been aware of the issue of, I mean, this whole study came out from a piece of work that we did a few years ago where we put the zebra crossing in on Main Bank Avenue between the high school and the primary. And even though the zebra crossing went in, it still wasn't really resolving the wider issues, and that's part of why it was included in the walking and infrastructure plan.
It's better what you show in the map there. I'm trying to go back to this, as you said. But there's a couple of small called little children. Schools
Yeah.
down there. In fact, this I would have thought would have been very conscious, but small people are very important because it's very vital telling us very close to the culture, you know, like.
Yes.
So that's what I thought you were going to say. I'll assume or hope that's the sort of way of sort of leading.
If any of the solutions to do with the schools will be part of the wider proposal that we might be putting towards TNT. I mean, even if we don't end up putting forward a business case because there might not be enough buy-in from residents, I think there's still going to be useful information that comes out of it that actually we can look at doing things in specific locations. It might not be perhaps as ambitious as a mini Holland scheme, but there will still be things that we could take a look at of whether we could actually make an improvement, and that could be more than likely I would expect it to be forward at some point.
Because I mean, I'll just say about that area is really very congested. So it's an eye, obviously that's why you chose that area.
That was
Ideal area.
yeah.
I mean, I used to drive a lot, not now, but I used to drive a lot. That area was just a nightmare. Which I do. Especially in school times and things like that. So the holiday idea would be the most obvious. That's why I thought the schools would be the most common.
Yeah, I mean, that's part of the analysis, is looking at where people are travelling to and from and why they're travelling. And obviously we get an awful lot of school run traffic. And if we can, something like that, if all those measures, if they can encourage parents out there to do those 5, 10, 15-minute walks, it helps everybody. As you say, the air pollution associated from it is just one part of the benefit.
Good luck on that one.
Okay. Well, thank you for that.
Right, thank you very much for your time. I do appreciate the opportunity.
Wish you well.
And I'll mention to the team that you're hoping to come on Saturday. If that's all right.
Don't say that, they won't turn up.
Can't get out of it now.
No.
Right, okay then. Okay. Right, so we move swiftly on then. And we'll have the first application, 22/4698, demolition of building structures and erection of 47 retirement living apartments, which will be affordable homes, parking spaces, landscaping and associated works. And that's Herbert Street. Hazel was declared an interest and made comment. So, Red?
So I should also declare an interest in this one.
Well, you live there, but have you made any comment?
No, not before.
No declaration.
Okay,
Carry on.
you're happy.
Well, that's the plot.
Right,
Uh,
how many spaces have they got for cars? It's the first one I'd like to know, because 21, and on 47,
It's 15 in normal parking space, and 6, yeah, in 6 disabled and one motorbike. So I don't motorbike.
so straight away, there's not enough car parking spaces for the amount of buildings.
Let's just
But,
get familiar with the plot.
Yeah.
This plot has been subject to planning permission in 2018 for a series of 3 and 4 bedroom houses, which were given permission, which is it in all of that? I assume it was a farm at one point, and I know there's a picture, there's like a yard, and you want to develop more than that yard, obviously it's in a field, I guess, is that correct? Or-
Yeah.
Just so we can get the geography of it. That field, that's the yard there. They want to build this on that plus the grass, which I call the field.
They actually run it. I
It's-
think it just goes up to fields.
It's the farm.
It's quite a big space of things.
But is it on the same plot of land as what they gave permission for the 3 and 4 bedroom houses, right? Which I guess didn't get built, didn't intend to get built. It was just to get planning permission for something on that side. Maybe or whatever, but there's a reason it didn't get built, didn't it? Okay, so that's the thing, it's a retirement homes, and it's usual, what then this is about parking, it's about a lot of misinformation where it's situated vis-a-vis bus stops and everything else. They're not quite accurate as it should be. But they're not, certainly not accurate either. So it makes it out, that it's closer to, if you like, the town centre, and it makes out you can get a bus to the railway station and so on. So you wouldn't get it, you'd have to get on your scooter, because there's scooter parking as well. You get on your scooter and then get to the bus stop. So that's just give you the fact. So if he wants to say more, that would be substantial.
Yeah. It used to be a farm, and it's right at the end of Herbert Street, as you turn around to Lavender Estate, that's been built there. But 47 places also, there's apartments.
It's 3 stories, I think.
So the amount of extra vehicles alone that's going to be there, or are they saying that no one will have vehicles? It's beyond me, because Herbert Street at the moment is awkward at the best of times, but especially at 9 o'clock in the morning and at 5 o'clock at night. We've already reached our quota. How many more buildings have we got to add in? I find it exasperating that they keep coming up with these plots of land and put as much as they can in. They're not considering, they all are interested in this profit, and they're not interested in the people's welfare at all. And I'm totally against it.
Is there not small housing estate?
There's
Avon Drive is right next to it. I know.
Because I've been looking on the website actually, and I could just well I'd seen a picture of some smaller houses across the road.
That's those days.
there's some, yeah.
Three-story townhouses. They're all linked.
Looks to me that you design the back building, what's already down there. Look at the buildings that are already down there. It's a similar size. I mean, I haven't been up there for donkey's years. I haven't been up there since the 60s. I went there, the stables up there.
But just round the corner from that is that round, I can't remember what it's called. But if you go to the end of Herbert Street, it bears round to the left, and then you go up a little bit further, and there's a brand new, I don't know, it's been up there 8 or 9 years, I should think, maybe a bit longer, but it's new in comparison. Plus, they're building another one down Alexander Gardens, down Sydney Road, which is again, is backing onto that.
Well,
There was, last time I counted, there was 1,250 new buildings going in the Sydney Road, Bremer Street corridor. 1,250. It's just ridiculous.
right, Hazel, do you want to?
Yeah, if I agree with, Councillor, Jane Francis, that there are, an awful lot of houses along there. If this development was in an area that was suitable for such facility, I would be all for it, because we do need, retirement accommodation for older people. The loss of beachways proves that it's very important. It brings a good community together. But the people who live in here would be slightly different from actually we have a slightly different living arrangement than the ones at Beachman, because there's just a manager in charge of the site here. So there's no care staff there, and that would be quite important. Really, I'll come to that later. So the people who will be living here will be over 65. They will want to get out. They want to be independent. I'm 67. I want to get out. And we want them to use the bus, which is why maybe they're only doing a few parking spaces. So if they were to use the bus and look at the transport plan, they would possibly think that they've only got to walk round the corner and catch the bus. They haven't. They've got to actually cross the city road. Now, for a young person crossing the city road, it's bad. But for somebody who might have a mobility frame or four-wheeler, that would be treacherous, really. You have to wait 5 to 10 minutes to cross the road. So people would go to a crossing further up, which would be an awful long way to walk, to catch the bus stop, to get to town, and then you'd have a 20-minute drive into town before, if you wanted to go to the railway station, as you said, you have another 20-minute drive. So that's not really ideal. A lot of the people living in such a building would perhaps choose to have a mobility scooter, and for that they need drop curves. I don't know if there's any drop curves in the street, but they need drop curves to get about, otherwise they'll be on the road. Now, the development company have said that this number of parking spaces is enough. I would disagree intensely, because people over 65, if they're a couple, they might have a car each. What's to stop them having a car each? People in that age bracket to actively interest and go out maybe to the grandchildren or the other town, but they're not all limited to one vehicle for each.
Did it not say over 55?
It says over 65, but if they don't get enough people, they'll go to over
So you could
55.
get a lot of them.
Yeah, so you will get younger. Now that those people would be quite fit. As they get older, they may get poorly. They may need carers. They may need carers 4 times a day. So we would have a lot of people extra going. Carers would be going early in the morning when there's all that traffic on Sydney Road. There's no transport on Sundays or in the evenings. So that limits people to having to drive or cycle. And I would like to be a carer having to cycle along the Sydney Road and Herbert Street. It's quite dangerous. So there's actually, but there's also all they've got visitors. But Christmas Day, it's going to be packed. They've got families, they've got doctors, they've got district nurses. So many people will be coming to that building. And it's a very narrow entrance. And it's on about the bend. So I just think there's so many things with it. I know the public right to way team are objecting on the grounds of, I don't know if anybody knows. Yeah, at the moment the public right to way goes through the building yard, which is not suitable, but it's going to be to go around the side. It's not like much, so cyclists could cycle along it, that they could catch the handlebars on the hedge bars. There's a lot of objections. I won't be voting.
And
It says
some
affordable.
of them are saying.
But it says affordable homes,
Yeah.
so it must be for sale.
So most people say it's affordable.
So what we've got a building that is 3 stories, but there are 3-story buildings around.
Yeah.
We have a number of neighbourhood objections, mainly around the egress of the site, the roads in, not particularly to Sydney though, but actually in there, there's quite a number of houses, they have what they say difficulties at the moment at parking. So I think parking is a key one for the site, because, you know, potentially, if they put 25, they're going to say it's 25, aren't they? But we also know that they have visitors and so on and so forth. Now that would then, if we don't get sufficient on that site, they're going to go on the road, which then will infuriate the neighbours more. And one thing you want when you've got the teller is not to infuriate anyone. You want a peaceful settlement down there. Let's be honest, we don't, you know, and I know it'll be difficult in the sense of, because there's an application for those houses already been passed. It'll be very difficult to stop that when from wrong, then please tell me. But it'll be very difficult in that sector. But I think what we should is to try and get the best for that site. Now I know that we always put, if there's anything in Sibbourne, it is about getting into Sibbourne and those peak times. It doesn't seem to make any odds to streets. However, it's not stopping us to make some comment on that, because we know it's a busy road, and certainly be turning right in whichever way you go, it's quite a nightmare. But you know, the plus to me that it is 47 retirement living apartments, and the class as affordable. But we all know what that means. So there are some pluses, but there are certainly things I think we should make comment on. But
If I can summarise, I think that will help. From what you said there, I think the principal development has been established on that site. But the proposals might be something that members might object to on the basis of the adequate parking provision that's under the planning policy threshold expectation, which will then create localised parking issues for existing difficulty with their amenity. The public transport is not readily accessible as dictated. To ensure that there are safety crossing development might contribute towards that mitigation. And then there are some other design issues with government policy, such as didn't identify EV charging points, charging points, the operation of waste storage, detailing couldn't access, I didn't understand. There's no demonstration of net biodiversity gains against policy. No sustainable energy production, such as solar panels. The site should provide for more sustainable heating mechanisms, such as ground source heat pumps, similar alternatives. And the localised issues on Sydney Road for additional traffic.
that I don't want to build
Did
on
we
that.
get all that out of what we said?
Yeah.
I'll back up what he just said.
But what will you need then?
But we need to be at a position where do we say that that's the concerns we've got? Because we either say we object to it on these following grounds.
I would suggest that whilst the objective to principal development on that side would be difficult because it's already been established land, the proposals that are in front of you, you can object to those because they don't meet the planning policy as we understand it, or equally meet the expectations of residents.
Although I disagree with 1150 houses, that's far better than 1147 accommodation. So, yeah, I'd like to propose that we put in what the Clarkson.
Are we okay with that? That's what I had. Okay.
Yeah.
Tom, okay,
That's fine, that's fine.
all right then, so, one of those lines then, that. Great, thank you. Let's move on, 224924. Proposed 5G telecoms installation, 20-metre street pole and additional equipment cabinets. And it says it's H3G2, Coppenhall Street Works, Coppenhall. Now, if anyone can work that one out before they look on actually where it is, then please tell me. But I'm not, it's just generalising the thing, and but stick a pin in it, and that's where we'll put it. When you look on the map, it is on that corner, Broad Street, Badger Avenue, more or less opposite what's the nursing homes. They made a sad, Ashlands and the one point, but very, very sensitive that one.
Pick me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know that. So on that corner there's Badger. Obviously, what would have been the Broad Street Club.
Yes,
Right, isn't it? That focuses now, isn't it? Broad Street
Yeah.
Club.
yeah, I know that.
So that's where they want to put it. It's off the road, it's back, I guess it'll be, have to go back, won't it, because it's on the corner there, and there's traffic lights.
Yeah, that's to create a vision slate, which, so it's positioning somewhere here, but, sorry, I haven't got the point to do that there.
It's one of them where they do what they want, but
Well, there are some observations you might want to split the
well, it is
proximity.
close to various places, you know, because people are living Pickley here. You've got far from Adelaide Street School, as a crow flies. Dennis?
I couldn't see any traffic lights
Well,
on that photo.
perhaps that man was there before the traffic lights.
I appreciate what you're saying. It's where Broad Street crosses Badger Ave, isn't it?
There,
Yeah,
Yeah.
but where's the traffic lights?
Yeah.
Are they?
Yeah.
Do you know, I've never noticed that cross there. I go past it nearly every day.
so that's the position,
perhaps it is, yeah.
set back.
It's when the other side of the fence, you've got a woman, Dennis.
I know it's the green belt. Sorry, the cemetery.
So the proximities, rough measurements are 170 metres from Beechwood Primary School, 245 metres from Adelaide School, 35 metres from Cherries Preschool, 45 metres from the residential. Unless I've missed some.
And that is what generally when we make comment is I like where it's close to, because clearly, you know, when they want to put one in by the Georges, they didn't realise that the school, which was erased many years, has now come back from the out, you know, feelings from the ashes, and it's and they pull that one because it's so close to so I think it's key that we should put that, because some of, I guess in some of those places, some very frail people.
Yeah, there's Cypress Court, which is,
That's just that one. It's really that white block is.
yeah, Picnic is the white block.
I can't understand why you want to put.
No, not that, sorry, Brent. Sorry.
I can't understand why you want to put masts there.
Yeah.
It's a bottom of the
Yes.
Quite highly, seen them
Why
quite high.
can't they put it in the field opposite?
Anyway, whether they do or they don't,
Yeah.
that's where they want to put it, so I don't think we should be fighting our corner in that sense. So these observations that we're making, we're putting that in as an objection.
That's what members want, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Next one then, 224964. I won't read all that, but basically it's a two-storey building, youth zone facility, minibus parking, drop-off in Oak Street, and a five-a-side illuminated mugger, and all sorts of things. So really, we need to look at the building. There's all sorts inside it, but I mean, basically some pictures of what we'll be looking at initially. I think that's the, does it have the wow factor? That's a lifestyle centre. Is it not?
It's
I think it's very fitting with the buildings, isn't it?
Well, there's a building there, isn't there? already?
Yeah, the dance studio.
I guess that's the, as is now, read out, is it? Or
Yeah, yeah.
is it a-
Topography. Oh, I use the visuals.
Well,
So that one's,
that's from the
on the
roundabout.
roundabout, yeah. To the right would be High Street.
nice. They want to put that on the car park.
Yeah,
And the Oak Street car park, yeah,
and that would be,
that's on price.
that would be effectively putting down the gable and building that. Because it's
You know, how much they-
oh, yeah, the whole Oak Street would be gone.
Yeah.
So that's, sorry,
Look at
Cheshire
Cheshire East.
This is part of the Towns Fund package of projects, which has been funded to build it. There's a slight funding gap to deliver it and then to run it, the revenue funding gap, working on that. And so it's something of scale for youth crew, and will provide facilities and various different services and activities for young people in council.
Is this the one that's based on that, in Central One?
It's
Yeah,
the
that's,
youth club.
I haven't been to visit the one in Warrington. I believe. But I believe that one of them has, if the town was to be built in, had a lot of social behaviour. And according to the website, 95% of that eased off after, from the young people, after the youth style was started in the area. And to me, I think we let down, not just particularly, but Crewe has let down the young people for a long time because we haven't had anything major for them to go to. And it's all right if they belong to a little group. But if you've got 3 or 4 children, you can't afford to send them to play football, £30 a week, or boxing, £30 a week. But this has got boxing in it. It's got a climbing wall. It's got DJs. It's DJ equipment. It's got musical drama. It's even open in the daytime for older people. And I believe it costs 50 people to get in.
Yeah,
So if you've got 4 children,
So-
you could afford that a couple of times a week. hopefully.
there is a minimum charge. for kids that come there. Now, whether they go on daily, but they're having membership.
I think it's
a
yearly
daily,
membership
yeah.
as well, and then 50p
Yeah.
each time you go.
So, I guess that's the mother on the.
That's it, yeah, well, it's not, I know, it's just that bit, that aspect internally
So-
will be open.
What we're really into then, because I think the principle, what's going to go up inside it ticks every box we want.
Doesn't it? Yeah.
But it's whether, I mean, to me, I guess that's wood cladding, very similar to the building behind us. What would be behind?
That,
So
so
is anybody,
to the right hand white building, is that the old Chronicle?
That's it, yeah. Exactly.
yes.
So,
This office
Just
is
being
green.
done up now.
yeah, so looking to the plans that we had a few months ago, or whenever it was about the library, I would take it that that path that
Exactly.
goes up there
And those-
is going through to the yeah, that's right, okay, I'll just put a
Yeah,
make,
exactly right.
yeah. So that comes through the thing from the station to the town centre then,
That's it, yeah, because Mill Street will be off the bottom.
yeah.
So are we comment on that, we're happy with it? You want to?
A couple of minor observations might be, if you remind to. I think, the committee, the council is going to welcome the applications, enhancements. But you might, just to keep consistency and policy forward, mentioned there's no sustainable energy generation, haven't identified any bike parking, and should be net biodiversity gain to be a policy as well. But that's not asking for any major amendments, it's just
Yeah.
putting bird boxes or bee houses or something.
But they're doing away with another car park.
Put that building in the morning.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah,
Okay, so, but
well, personally, I welcome what they're doing. But I just wish they'd wait till the other car park was finished.
Well, they're not building yet, this is a planning application, there's a long way to go before
Okay.
right, so we're supportive of that, look what you want, we want need to
that. Slight
for consistency.
Yeah.
Is that okay then?
Yeah.
Colin? Yeah, so let's move on then. 22/49/87, discharge of condition 6, the construction and operation of a 4 megawatt micro power plant and associated equipment. Cowley Way.
I can bring it up, but I don't, it's a bit technical, there's nothing I can observe on it, if you want to look at it, you can, or you can just.
Well, let's have a look,
Let's have a look.
see, and at least then we've done our duty. But if it's a discharge, so they've already got permission, it's just, so it's really, but just to give us an idea what we're gonna be looking at.
Written documents about what the work is, how it goes into the various bits of legislation.
I guess we never made comment on the original application, but then on this basis.
Well, I know I did.
Silly question.
168 page report there, so. You want to know where it is? Right by the railway there. Alright. Some road, Preston Road.
And I'll say what we're from the road anyway.
Oh, right.
So it's,
It's not really going to interfere with
it's not a sensitive aesthetic situation realistically.
We'd like to put a 5G mast there.
Yeah.
yeah.
There's no environmental impact.
Shall we move on then, colleagues?
Yeah.
Shall we move on? Okay, I've declared an interest on this one, 23/011, provision of a mobile catering pod to be placed adjacent to the food technology building, Ruskin Community High School. Is it 14?
Okay. It's there's nothing to worry about, frankly. It's an additional resource to enable the school to fulfil its capacity in terms of lunch breaks and things like that. So it's a catering pod, it's a standalone unit.
In that design access.
Even though you're not,
Well,
even though you're not getting involved.
You'll get there pretty quick.
Access is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what we're on.
It's inside the premises, isn't it? It's on a playground or whatever.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. So it's not really going to affect anybody who's.
No. Adding
It's not
capacity.
it's not in keeping with the rest of the building, is it? That looks like it's in shed.
Well, it does.
Yeah, but
That's my personal opinion.
But as such, it doesn't attach to the building, it's standalone.
Yeah. I'm not saying that I'm in love with it, love the actual building, but you're not going to see it from the road, are you? Not if I'm right,
No, you
right?
won't see it.
No, not unless you drive into the car park,
Right,
or, sorry, into the playground. So,
Every application has to have because it's a listed build, the main building is a grade 2 listed building. And they say that because the rest has been added, you still have to have that, you know,
Well, this is,
Cheshire said,
well, this,
because that's why that technology, which was new,
It looks new, is it the right building, Mr. Technology?
and
It would have been better with the rest of the building.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a brick building.
it wouldn't allow, it's actually because it could well be taken away. It's not a permanent structure, so.
And that's,
If it was attached to the school or near the main building, then there would be.
then there'd be the heritage considerations for how you
Because it's
interpret
there,
it.
it's not.
On this, we're not looking at heritage.
And the reason, if I can, the reason that we need that is because the school has now got 740 pupils, which is 250 more than what we had.
yeah,
2 years ago. And so we're finding, what we have split dinners. So if they have that pod, it enables them to go back to one dinner, which is better for the school and the planning of the lesson. So that's why it's here.
so what you're saying is that although they want to keep it, it's not a permanent building.
It's
It's
not,
like
as-
putting
it's
up a
not
green
classed
shed.
as such.
It can be removed without
Yeah.
affecting the setting in any way, shape, or form, whereas it increases the capacity of the school to serve dinners to the kids who need it. When I looked at it, I couldn't see any risk. The food technology isn't part of the heritage setting of the original building anyway. It is red brick, but it's very new in comparison. And it's not linked to attach. It's a lift in, lift out, theoretically making it out.
Although I do agree with what Kevin's saying, because if you like, it's not a permanent structure, I don't think we should say anything. It's only right.
Thanks.
United, if you like. Wonderful. And I'm presuming that some of them would have had to maybe go out to the school for lunch break, up to the shops.
Well, no, because they were split dinner, so
So they
therefore,
wouldn't be going out.
no, it's not coverage, no.
Yeah, so this is keeping them on site.
No, this would go back to one dinner hour, say 12 till 1:30. At the moment, it's split, so you got half the school going on the year group, say 12 till 1:30, and then the others are going 41 till 1:30. And to get them planning lessons and so on, they'll have more cohesion within the school. If they say, this is dinner time, and everyone has dinner, you know.
Thank you.
That's the reason, it's because the school is full. It's a nice problem to have.
Yeah.
Okay, anyway, it's up to you, what Dennis is saying.
I've currently got nothing listed as an objection unless anyone wants to correct me. No?
Look at it, look at it. To be honest with you, I said that. He's got put with it, not me.
Fair enough.
No,
It'd be better for the kids as well, having,
Well, it could be, yes.
let me get the lights put out of there. they're all right. Okay, 23024, proposed change of use / conversion into 2 flats and associated works, 30 Casson Street, 0024. Kevin's declared an interest, but you can make comment. Right, so let's have a look at this. Seems to be a trend that happening, making them 2 flats rather than dam. XMO as stated. However, you've got to be mindful that that could be a hidden.
The back of there, at least, what, 12, 14 flats? At the back of there. These houses that have been converted to flats,
In the next street,
yes, in West Street.
yes.
I mean, adding another bathroom in a house like that isn't good for the drainage system. The nice utilities come around at least twice a year to lift the manhole cover so that it doesn't block the drainage. I think there's only 2 manhole covers for the houses from my house down to that end. I've got one and 30, I've got the other one. So when you can't get into 30, hanging on my door, then you need to unblock the drainage. You're talking about having a family upstairs with another bathroom.
Right.
I don't know. The house next door to me's got 5. You know, right, right.
How many bedrooms?
I think he's only doing that purely for money. You can't park in the street as it is.
So there's parking issues already.
People, there's 3 houses there where people have got 2 cars.
And are you saying that a lot of houses have been already gone into flats?
From where I am, the way you go down, they're all 3 bedroom. The rest of the street, from me to the left, is all 2 bedroom terrace and the opposite side of the road. For some reason, from my house down, they were built something like 20 years later. And then built as 3 bedroom houses with the back. There's all the others never had a back.
Converted. Right, okay. So what's,
Got somewhat observations, Chair.
yes,
First concern I have is that proposals might act as a workaround for the intents and actions of the Article Directive to reduce the proliferation of HMOs. Development could be considered as a development site with high density occupation in what is traditional small family home. The development could further exacerbate localised on-street parking issues and associated congestion and risk to cyclists. Don't demonstrate safe egress from the first floor in the event of an emergency. There is a lack of amenity space for the upstairs flat, the backyard, and there's a risk of on-street wastage before access to the waste of personal accommodation. And as I understand it, they're going out.
So there's no, sorry, there's no fire escape, sorry?
you see, observation I've got is that the way that it's set up, the upstairs flat, where you've got the kitchen is actually in the outside wall, looking over the backyard.
Yeah.
And that's right.
That kitchen there is back bedroom.
It's, yeah, as is now.
The window overlooks the back and overlooks directly on the house to the west where that kitchen is.
Well, what I was going to say, Kevin, is that my experience of mine next door to me, I live in a terrace, is that when they converted a house into 2 flats, they tend to do, is that what they did is put a set of steps. So where the window is looking out, they made that a door, and there's a set of steps, so that the top flat could get down into the backyard to access the bin and so on and so forth. My experience is if you don't do that, then the bin either tends to be on the street, although they'll say it's in the backyard, but where that would be positioned in that road, are they going to take a black sack round the back into the back gate and then put it in the bin? When you could actually you can make it better for the people living in that house. There's things they could do would improve it.
If you put an exit from there, you'd have to have a door next to that window where that bedroom is. And there, yeah. And then you would have to extend, and you can see on the side there where the shed is, the extension on that second drawing. That's where you're supposed to be keeping the bikes for both flats, according to what I read on there. But you would have to extend that. You would have to have that fire escape. It would take up. It would go into at least 50% backyard. Like, it'd have to be shallow.
You see, that opens up the actual a self-contained flat. You can get in from the back. Doesn't have to be. But if you don't have
You can't
that,
get into the back because you've got alligators.
well, that's fine. Everyone has alligators. doesn't matter, what I'm saying is that upstairs flat will have no access other than that front
From the
door.
front
And
door.
you can bet your bottom dollar there'll be a bin stuck in your street. Now, surely we should be looking and say, we're trying to eliminate that. Hence what, before the meeting started about Edwardson Road. The fact is, when the bins are out and they're overflowing and your entrance to town, it is not a good sign. So we shouldn't be sitting here and saying, oh, well, that's okay, we'll put a bin there. Or fight a developer says, oh, we can't put it. We should be saying it should be separate, individual, self-contained, if you like. Not go down the stairs and do that and pull on it. I'll just pop through the alley gates and I'll pop through the backyard, because you've got to do the same with your bag. And I'll tell you what happens, you know yourself. Because there's always bins in Ridge Street at that top end. Never put that.
The bins are on the street 24 hours a day.
If there's a fire in the front of that house, how do they get out?
Can't get out. I can't get, because if I in front of my house, I can get out, but I've got a window where they're gonna put that kitchen. And I can push the window right up, but I'll have to climb on that shed roof.
Right, so what do we want to, we want to look at this in an objection, parking. What else?
I would say my opinion,
Sorry.
the main objection I would have is that if there is a fire at the front of that house, the people upstairs have got no way to get out without going through the fire. There is no fire exit at the top that I can see.
If there was a fire in flat downstairs, they wouldn't be able to get downstairs.
So,
No way to get downstairs.
so they need
If
to have
there's
a
a fire down in one of those houses, any one of them, you can't get down the stairs. If the doors open, you can't, because the whole roof downstairs. is on fire. I mean, but granted, you're gonna have that fire, you're gonna have to be, I would say, at least an elevator fire door downstairs. Save someone's life upstairs.
I'm not sure on the rules, but I think.
No,
I think fire doors are only on a 3-story building. All right,
That's building regs, by the way.
well, I think you'll find that if, the only reason I know that is a friend of mine lived in a 2-floor house and he had his attic done and he couldn't have it done unless he had fire doors put in to make the loft into another room. But
Not less at the fire side of that on their plans, to be honest with you. I've been through it. I spent a lot. I couldn't find anything referencing fire doors.
won't need it.
It's not-
Fire regs won't need it because it's only on 2 floors. But as has been said, and I've said it earlier, if there is a fire downstairs, they ain't gonna get out. Unless there's a fire escape on the top floor or the first floor. So I would object on that grounds.
Right, so are we pulling that all together?
Well, if you're objecting to it, there's objection on overdevelopment, lack of amenity space, no safe egress from the first floor in the case of emergency, impact on street parking, and risk of on-street waste due to poor access to storage, waste storage for the first floor accommodation, impacting local amenities.
Is that okay, Kevin?
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you for that. That was very close to home.
2 doors down.
Yeah, that's very good.
Next door but one.
Oh, in Castle.
Okay, so we're talking 2247/84, change of use from 1 number residential dwelling to 2 self-contained dwellings, including a small rear extension to the ground floor rear elevation. Now, if you remember, not so many meetings back, we looked at this property, this 2 large street, where, and we made comment because they wanted to take off some lovely windows in the roof, where it was a maid, would have been a maid's, reasonable size house in the old days, and put velexes in and so on. Now we made objections to this, and they seem to have done a little bit of tweaking, and they've come back now and said it's 2 self-contained. they wanted three, didn't they? And they wanted to put somebody in the roof. Now, and there's also a cellar, which I have to say makes it, they say that no one's going to live in the cellar, but unfortunately, you know, anyway, I'm going live, so I'll not say what I was thinking. However, let's have a look at it. That's it. That should be kept. That's a feature of that particular house when it was built in the 1880s, and it shouldn't be. So,
those are the features, you're exactly right. They're proposing to replace flat roof velux, take the feature out in order to remove this gable end window, which is shown there. So that heritage aspect is reduction in the ability of the street scene, and the value of the street scene significant to the town's heritage. So that's one aspect. These are the floor layouts. This is the basement. It says basement storage here. It steps up. I would advise there is a risk if it's not conditioned correctly that could be used to live in accommodation, which we challenge. And then flat one would therefore be based over these two rooms with a kitchen, small shower and bathroom here, and access to a small rear yard at the back door. So that would be that. That is the access to the upstairs flat, by the way. Flat two would operate in a small kitchen, a full bathroom, with what the state of the living room could be a bedroom, and two more bedrooms upstairs. Now, I couldn't identify whether the headroom was adequate in these spaces at all, in fact. So I would say that needs to be clarified. Equally, the access to waste is down this side access and into this small sectioned off bit where the proposed gate opens into the public shared space. I would suggest that's not appropriate to open the gate into the public shared space. And is that adequate storage? Can't identify bike storage either. And there's 0 immediate space for what is effectively the larger flat with theoretically 2, maybe 3 bedrooms. It seems to be a means of, or it could be interpreted as a means to find a way of delivering high density accommodation, lots such as HMO, whilst separating out into 2 separate units and not calling them HMO. So I would say it doesn't, it could miss the opportunity of an Article 4 directive tries to achieve as well. On-street parking, bike storage, waste storage, all the usual things on that one. And is there safe egress, particularly from that second floor set of bedrooms? And I would suggest there isn't safe egress, except down the central stairs.
once you drop onto the extension.
Well, that would need to be, if it was to be a formal safe egress, it would need to be established alone and all that sort of thing.
So again, just touching on what I said, I mean, it's obviously what it's got to maximise their public margins, not particularly for the interest of the tenants. Well, that's not a planning reason. So on the grounds of what Pete said there, objection to on the following grounds.
Yeah.
And we've even got heritage. I think we made a heritage statement.
Made a heritage statement last one, which will probably
Would you? Yeah, because Vicky did a heritage statement on that. It's surprising to see how you start looking at these little features, and all that street, or all that side of the street, have got those built in.
And they can be very attractive.
We call that.
Yeah.
Are they trying to take those,
the finials.
yes, those minions out of the roof to make more floor space? Looks like it to me. I mean, I'm no architect, I'm not very possible.
Well,
It looks to me as if they're taking them out to give it more floor space.
Not.
No, I think it might give you a bit more.
Part of it will be built inside the roof space.
They're not altering the line or the pitch of the roof. So those sticking out, windows there
Yeah,
provide additional headroom that a Velux window on the current pitch can't provide. On the line of the roof. So I don't know, but my guess would be if I was a developer, I'd be taking those out for low maintenance.
Yeah.
You take those out, put a single straight pitch down, you don't have any valleys or maintenance costs. That's a guess, not.
I think that observation might not be a
Once-
million miles away.
Once again, if there's a fire, how do they get out? Because what I can see, it looks like it's only the stairs. But then,
That's observation made, yeah. So,
okay,
So we're okay then? Along those
Yeah.
lines.
against,
Okay, next one, 230057, additional aluminium frame shutters for the shop window, 88 to 90 Gresty Road. This is the shop opposite the Alex, it was
the garden.
lawnmowers.
Almost, yeah,
It's been there for 18 years. Somebody, when you read it, just want to take over and open up a shop. And you just want to put some aluminium frame shutters. Now, I can see why we might want to put shutters, but do they need to be aluminium? Do they need to stand out? Do they, you know, because the what was bag and booze, whatever is further down. I think that's got red shutters, so you could have objective shutters, but does it have to have something that?
it makes the aluminium shutters very light and makes it.
yeah,
Yeah, we understand.
If you have steel and painted velcros, steel will shutters tend to rust from the inside out.
is it not a garden and lawnmower shop anymore?
No, it's still.
I've never noticed. How many times have I been past it?
in terms of any observations, all I've noted is, it might be so the final design and finish of the shutters adds value to the street scene in terms of colour and design, potentially to reflect any attractive nature of the building. Roller shutters, I think, is you're not going to argue against one, but we might see that they try and add value and put some colour to it rather than just a bare metal. That's like,
Aluminium doesn't have to be silver or grey or whatever.
it can be coloured. It can be powder coloured coats and metal, maybe.
Yeah.
But it's a request. I don't think it'd be not. I'm trying to say, but I don't think it'd be an objection rather than a request.
No, yeah,
Is that okay?
Yeah.
Next one then, 230041. Which is the demolition of a car wash, creation of a charging zone, erection of EV chargers, erection of a canopy, 3 jet wash bays, substation enclosing associated forecourt works. The Shell service station, Bradfield Road.
it's right on the corner, isn't it?
I've had a look at it, and it seems all right to me. It doesn't look as if it's going to be sticking out like it's all full. It's going to be there like it is now. We're moving things around to make space for parking spaces, aren't they? Instead of having a car wash, having jet wash pages instead of.
Yeah,
I personally haven't got any objections to what we want to do, simply that everybody's having electric cars.
yeah,
I just worried it would be very nice.
It does say,
Quality is still,
if I read right, it does say that the charging bays, the quick charging bays.
I just think the jet wash.
yeah, it was, I don't think it's any noisier than a normal car wash. Not that I've noticed anyway.
Got an assessment.
A jet wash.
Is this the one where you want to go longer?
Where you've got big brushes in it.
Not
Yeah.
Not this one.
No,
So there's an impact statement that I assume will take into hours of opening and noise with it.
I don't think it'll be any noise if it's all right.
Have we had any letters of
Having said
complaint?
that, I don't live up there, do I? Used to do.
So none of the neighbours have
Nobody's
complained or
what environmental health. No, there's no neighbours on there, no.
no?
There's a noise impact assessment, there you go.
which bit you
So
want to
you
see?
write that how you want it to end up, don't you?
Yeah.
Taking some of the grass verge as well, apparently, you know.
Oh,
Right?
Yes, not much of it, but they are taking part of the grass verge that runs along the main road.
Must have got great crested newts on it, haven't they?
Well, with all that water,
There's water on there, isn't it?
Dig a pond quick.
I honestly don't know what you want to look at in the, you got some noise levels, I can't,
Yeah.
I can't say what that
Fifty's
is.
quite low.
Yeah,
What was it, 76 decibels, if I remember right, you've got to area protection.
Yeah.
not better, I'll speak now.
Okay, so
I can't hear that, so I've got to do it.
has anybody got anything towards other than sort of checking out a bit noise?
I think
Kevin's
it's
looked at it.
11 o'clock at night is quite.
Is that what it's your?
Yeah.
I've not-
I only looked
So-
at it because I thought, oh, what the hell are you doing there?
What does it? That's a stupid building, isn't it?
You're moving everything to,
Yeah, but
towards the rail, everything's going towards the railway side.
yeah,
It's
Is
like,
it 24? Is it every day of the year apart from?
Yeah.
So
well, it's open,
it's open every day, but is it open
except
around
for
holidays?
Christmas days and stuff, I assume it's just.
Well,
Station, isn't it?
Suppose you
With a shop.
might mention their house is quite close. That's the
There's a
side
little-
and opposite, isn't it?
there's a
Yeah,
little,
yeah.
Perhaps we should make just some comments.
coming towards, whatever the name of that road. Going from
Underwood Lane.
Underwood Lane, turning
Lane.
right, you go, there's a little road to the side of about 3 or 4 houses down there.
Yes, there is some
Yeah.
bungalows down there.
Yeah, but then,
Going
oh, wait,
going back towards the railway bridge.
yeah,
Some bungalows there on the right hand side.
I would think they get more noise from the railway.
Got no clubs the other side of the
That's
bridge.
it, yeah. So,
Well, anyway, let's stick to this,
Yeah.
not the railway. I'll just make observations that there's neighbours at houses and, I mean, you know.
And there's a book
it's
about
7
right
days.
behind where the jet wash.
Yes, there is. But I think it might be, to be honest with you, aesthetic, anyway.
I don't object to, we just bringing that. I mean, the neighbours will have had, I'll
So they
get
will, they have to
notification,
say
so.
okay,
All right, so move on then. 230148, certificate of lawful proposed development for rear and side extension within permitted development rights. Now, this seems a bit of a new thing to me.
Yeah,
Can you explain to the committee, and also myself,
thank
what
you
it means?
for that opportunity. That's very kind.
I'm not the wiser.
This is not going to be an object lesson, the perfect answer to that question. But as I understand it, a certificate of local proposed development within permitted development is within the planning laws that constantly change. There are tolerances where you don't need a full plan application. And I understand this is one such one. So to regularize, if you build an extension on your house and you ever want to sell it in the future, you need to ensure you've got all the paperwork in place. So you would go through the whatever planning application process you're told when you've consulted with the planners. And this is one of those, the lighter touch ones, it's permitted development because it's a smaller proposal and they are regularised with this, and it wouldn't be expected to be of that challenge when I looked at it certainly.
So you would have a certificate to say that you've had permission to, not probably the wrong word, but as it's not gone through.
Yeah, it's a lawful development under permitted development rights. That's to have a piece of paperwork, so that when if you ever want to sell the house or you buy it, and someone else to sell it, you've got a piece of paper that's regularised this title.
so.
That's as I understand it.
So
I shall take no more questions.
So you have permission to not have permission to build it.
Yeah, that sort of thing. Yeah.
Right, so
It's well, I don't say it's not a big development. It seems much worse and much bigger. It's one of the normal little household proposals, really. Right. Let's come out again. We've got this house here, and we're putting this extension on the end, larger kitchen. living space, all one space, as is fashion. And they're creating that increased living space. Let's get some site plans. It's that property there, and it's just going out there, and a little bit to the side as well, but not really.
If you look at that, it looks like somebody up the road's already done.
Yeah, there'll be loads of. I don't know why. Sorry, there'll be loads of developments nearby that have got extensions on the back. So the principal developments are challenging. And so
No objections from the.
I have observed it. I can give you any advice.
Okay.
Let's move on then.
Yeah.
230136, single story flat roof extension to rear, providing accessible bedroom and bathroom, including new external ramp access to side elevation, 112 Plain Street. And I think when you look, this is the right one, when you look at the applicant's name, the agent, I think is Cheshire East. So, no, I think if I've got it right, so it might be true because of, you know, the need to have this access
Yes,
because of.
but
maybe
we're
we're-
saying that, yeah,
maybe
the.
that might be done through,
Yeah.
you know,
Yes.
social services or whatever it would be. So,
So you're saying that the person in that house is disabled? Or could be disabled?
clearly the extension
Yeah.
is to
Yes.
enable them to continue living there.
Yes.
Yeah,
And we do want people to live.
you know, care and repair.
Yeah.
Why doors don't. So that's a semi-detached house, wouldn't it?
That's a successful downstairs bedroom. This is it.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Okay, that's
Okay.
very good, that. Okay then, thank you for that. Item 7 then, to note responses submitted under delegation since the previous meeting.
Just to be noted, they were shared in advance and sent out as was. So they've been circulated to you for
Yeah.
completeness, really. We've had them all digitally in the past.
It'll be in the black month to meet on it. They went out to it. 8, to note and consider correspondence, consultations. So we've got 8.2, residents email received relating to an application.
Yeah, it's purely for noting because it's they copied us in on their response, which they did submit to the planning authority, and it's an application 173 Mitchell Road, demolition of existing garage, creating 9 residential home, which we obviously objected to as well. And I've just shared the contents with you as is appropriate correspondence. There's no action to take. We've already addressed.
Have we not got any extra planning?
No, we've just gone through them like that. We've just gone through them now.
Right, that's okay. So item 9 then, members item. Councillor Murray, 20 is plenty.
All there is. Right. Make through town. Very little cost for it. Is reducing the carbon levels. This plan is 2020. Big bands. Some of them only actually. They're asking many times can very little cost. There's no traffic calming there. Only if you're having going to wherever it is over that street having fancy with the whole area it slows down. Can we traffic at the minute where I am invested? announced in the Western traffic lights. And it's huge traffic outside. And they're all waiting to go through the lights. What this says is, I mean, don't know, that's yes.
It was circulated to all members of the
All the information you need in here. One of the parts of the information, so if you're hit by a car at 30 miles an hour, equivalent damage by a car is equivalent of dropping off the floor. Also, doing calls, and you're saying that the daily levels have dropped. Less cost than yeah, why? It's saying that the cost to make through town 20 miles an hour. At the end of the day, which Anthony Fletcher, he was on the but everything is screwed automatically out.
Only when the times of the school being entered.
Not with this, because it's
I know,
yes, but as it is at the minute, but you go through those lights and they're flashing red. Still be thinking about it, but fine, like this. You see the fine. Everywhere you go. You've got the best ignorance of threat. Or when 20 miles an hour speed, and you're still doing that, 40 miles.
Comes to the one question I'd like to ask you, not against it, how would you police it?
You only police it same as you've got now with traffic. I mean, we can't police 30 miles an hour speed.
I've been a driver for longer than I care to remember. I just feel that until we can police something like that, so that more than 50% of the people who speed get done, then we're never going to get it. Kevin, I'm not against it at all, but if someone says to me, we can police it like this, then I'll be 100% for it. I'd love to see, not speed cameras, but I suppose it would be speed cameras on Sydney Road, because trying to get out of my house at times is nigh on impossible. A little bit, yes, but there are times doing that, but that's beside the point. If someone can show me that it can be policed in the whole of Crewe, then I'd be 100% for it. But at the moment, I'm still in favour of it, but with not a reluctance, what's the word I'm looking for? Doubt that anything will change. I hope I'm wrong.
I don't think at the minute where we have got that. So I think only where I think there's only where I live is 20 miles an hour. It's just one section. Right. You walk it down and it's quite small. It's a one-way system, one-way in, one-way out. If the street is longer than straight, that's where you get people.
So,
All I was going to phrase was, fish fries sandbag. My family, my neighbors. And we tried it in sandbag. Now, at first, I thought it was just going to be on the estates. Tried on the road, you know, where the Choctaw is now. It's it back. You know, it's taken back off. Yeah. It's taken back. What I've seen down where I live, shopping around there, I couldn't understand it because my living down there, because like schools, it would be confined. But you see the whole town. You know, road traffic, Dennis, I mean, how do you mind that? I mean, with that, I'm just bring it home. I mean, I'm not objecting to the idea of it. I just think on main roads, it would just be difficult. Difficult for police, but it's just difficult for traffic flow. Off the main roads, yeah, I can understand that.
If you've got very little footfall on the main road, you can more footfall with this 20 mile an hour speed. So it's like on Rentwich Road, if it's 20 miles an hour going down Rentwich Road. Now, you can do it, I don't know.
Once again, the estate is still, I mean, you said before, further down.
It's not now, is it?
It's gone down to-
It's gone down. It's all the way to Rentwich now.
Yeah,
but I said that I attended a meeting somewhere about this with officers from Cheshire East. It was connected with that blue and green transport. And one of the problems was actually, and it was when the initiative was to slow traffic around the schools down to 20. One of the problems was it couldn't enforce it. You can't enforce it when the central police or whoever does this now with the camera say you're breaking the speed limit. It has to stay as it is because you have to go through official channels. And the guy there said to do that, we've got to establish what that road will be in the first place. Of course, all this goes back to the year in top. Only in the Winsford salt mines when they did it, they'd have to do it. So there's any excuse to come up with. So they made, for example, 30 mile an hour is Ruskin Road. And the theory is that they put a sign up saying, just before you got to it, 20. And it's like, yeah, okay. You know what I mean? Because they couldn't say make that all, because that's classed as a 30 mile an hour. Now, those streets that go from Ruskin to Edliston, in the streets, you know, the crisscross streets that we've got, which I live in now, my street is 20 mile an hour. So at the top of the street, a great expense that now worn away, but a great expense originally, they put a right big thing with 20 of them as you come off Nantwich Road. And then towards the bottom end of the street, trucks on a lamppost, a little sign, with 20 of them. So long way, all they come in, they might say, they won't say now because it's irrelevant, and they don't do anything like that now, it's not critical, so they don't do it. So they then get into the street, and I tell you what, they use it as a rat run. So there's no chance it's going to be 20, even though it is, you know, it's classed as 20. Because they're avoiding the lights, and they pop out, and then that's a no. So I've got the bumps that you've got there, and there's clearly a case for slowing traffic, you know, on environmental reasons and safety reasons and casualties and so on. It's all there, but it's all got a cost. you know, 4 years, Cheshire West and Chester did it, and the rollout, 4-year rollout cost 800 grand. You know, but the benefits, it was 3.5, I mean, you know, casually, we have a sum of money on us, don't we? X amount being killed, so they've done it benefit, 3.5 million in casualties avoided. I mean, how you come up with that, I mean, well, if you're selling the case, what I'm saying is, in principle, it's good, it's actually getting everybody tying it up together and making it enforceable, which is the difficult bit, isn't it? Now, you put this on tonight, and we have a discussion, but as a council, we'd have to make it as a council, wouldn't we? If we were to support.
As a council, you'd have to petition Cheshire East to.
And is that what you?
If possible, yes. I mean, if the council against it, then fair enough, the council.
At this stage, it's at committee level, and the committee might be asked to recommend to council that the council supports in principle the 2020 campaign for Crewe. And then if the council takes that recommendation and approves it at its meeting, then this council, when it represents to Cheshire East on highways issues, can include that policy of 2020 for Crewe, where people live. So the examples of main roads, 2020, and it's a main road, busy road, so you know, University Way or whatever. Then that might not be applicable, but we're talking about the residential streets, the ladder streets, what John's mentioned, the Sydney Road, all the streets in the states off that. Those are the 2020 areas where people live and people might want to walk or ride bike more regularly. So that's the principle, and I think Kevin wants to consider that principle as a recommendation to council. Council will consider that as a recommendation from the committee, and then we then have a policy response to all aspects of the highways of 2020 where people live.
I did ask the question once, when we built the houses on the old Birch site, and I asked the question, it said, why isn't this at 20,000? And the question came back, that all the streets on that estate are designed to drive that 20 miles an hour. You could only argue with it about that estate. What I'm saying is, the designers have deliberately designed that estate for a car to drive through that estate at 20 miles. That's as far as I've got.
Well, since Christmas on Sydney Road, don't know how many times I've been flashed because I was doing 30 and the car was so close to me that when I touched my brakes, he had to skid to stop. I didn't brake, I just touched them, being automatic, they come on nice. Anyway, and I think twice I've been overtaken going down Sydney Road during the evening, or you know, after 7 at night, and one of them, he must have been doing nearly 60 when he overtook me. And he was tooting his horn as he went past me. I was doing 30 miles an hour. So, I don't know. As I say, I fully support the idea. I just want to know how this is going to be policed.
We'll sum up.
I support more reason. But I'm not going to my life. I had a long life, but I wasn't planning for it. It tells me it's happening going at a higher speed. I haven't been it. But the proposal as it is, I worry because it isn't enforceable. We haven't got enough police. I've applied to go on speed watch. Police haven't got back to us to set one up. And it was, we wanted one on Sydney Road, we wanted one on the roads where we do get accidents. So I very much think that we need some sort of physical measures as well. It's not that as the 20, I think we need something. In Coronation Street, we have to travel behind a little island. It was badly thought out. Yeah, and it made everybody angry, and it wasn't suitable for cyclists, so it didn't work. So we need to get it right. I know Cheshire East have got plans because of how they realised that we were pushed by government to get these plans for actually travel as quickly as possible. the highway department have now got all these proposals. 20 candidates in these states would be fantastic. I agree with Dennis, because do overtake the roads of the road. If you stand and watch that one, it's slow down, it's flashing red constantly. But I really think we need to think about submission as well, and possibly SIDS, because if you have a SID, you've got to move it, and maybe tell council, look at purchasing in the future, purchasing a SID, putting it in one area for so long, and then it has to be moved to another area, so when it goes to the other area, because people get used to it, they say, and they stop taking notice. But yeah, and to work with the police, I mean, Freetown Council, got 10 speed bumps. Yeah, would be possible.
When was the last time they were used?
Before I started.
I think that the residents always say that they would like to do a speed watch, but they don't. But then again, the police put that speed up.
Right, okay, so how do you want to, do you support going to the council with this, or
I think,
do you want?
we've had an application for a speed watch for a 20 mile an hour in Broad Street. Approved. They came to you.
I'm sure you're right. Yeah, a lot of emails.
So people are starting to want this.
I
I looked
propose,
at it, yes, a resident one, not formal traffic one, okay.
I propose that we put this in front of the council and see what they have to say.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, if we get 15 or 75%. You try to make all the best.
I think it would be good for Cheshire's to know that we support the Treasury.
Example like Colverdale, like just gone initially to residential areas, and then I suppose to see how that goes, and you can grow it if you can. There's no good having it, it's still going to be wazzing down there, isn't it? I mean, it's just next time, oh, we're a 2020 town, yeah, oh yeah. But when you walk down the streets, isn't it? So what we just accepted then, that this is going to count an agenda item where yourself or Ben can.
Be a recommendation to this committee, in the minutes, and then it'll be there for the council to ratify.
Okay, is that
Yeah.
okay then?
Thanks very much.
Accept that. So, item 10 then, we'll get carried away yet. To note the proposed date of the next meeting is the 13th of February at 6 PM. Thank you for your attendance. And
And it's already in my diary.